loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together.
Once again, it's time for a conversation, and this time around, I am privileged because I count it as a privilege to have these two individuals here, and you'll understand why, because I'm among celebrities. But we will get to that shortly. We'll be talking about, a lot of us, we have friends and relatives overseas. But with these two particular individuals, they've been persons that I've admired over the years because they have a way of maintaining connections with persons who are not physically next to them. So at different points, well, one currently lives here and she'll tell you about that. But one who he lives overseas, but I've noticed because I watch his Facebook post, no, I do not stalk him. But he's able to maintain connection with friends that he has had for a lot of years. No, it is not something that I think we should take lightly, and I just want them to share their experiences with us today. That is, how can we maintain a connection with our friends and relatives who live overseas? Now, I'm talking about Ruth and Carr.
Hello.
And KDominic, McKenzie.
Hello.
Now, before we get into that, who is Ruth and Carr?
That's when I get asked that question, I'm never too sure what to say. I'm a lover of life and people.
Love that. And who is KDominic?
There's so many things I could say.
I know.
I am a lover of life. I'll start there. Sorry to steal that, Ruth Ann, but
No, it's not. We're sharing.
we're sharing.
There we go.
I'm a lover of
Yes.
life. I'm a lover of self-expression. I'm a lover of all things like if you're
Authentic.
authentic. You know, your authentic self. I appreciate people who are authentic with themselves and who are not afraid of being themselves wherever they go. And that's
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. And as I said before, this is, well, I didn't say it this time around, but this is making it last. It's all about how we have better relationships with others. Now, Ruth Ann, I know you have, a lot of people say you're bestie, so to speak.
It's not a lot of people. It's a fact.
It's a fact, right? No, but some people call it bestie. Some people call it something
You're
else.
right.
So,
You
yeah.
are right.
Yeah, but you
Yes.
have your bestie overseas, specifically Canada.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it. What are some of the things that you have done, you continue to do, that help to maintain that connection?
Well, I'll have to say her name, you know. My best friend's name is Camilla. And the last time we saw each other face to face, well, not in person, was 4 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, later this year, we'd celebrate our 4th anniversary, not seeing each other. But I'm going to change that.
Good.
We're going to change that. But it's not easy. But as I say to her every time, absence is to love as wind is to fire. Wait, no, don't you really just get rid of the small fires and you engulf the great. So if you really care about somebody, the distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Love it.
So you have to spend time though. You have to be determined, because I remember at one point I was in France, she was in Canada. The time difference was crazy. We decide that, hey, I am going to sit up late. I'm going to wait so I can talk to you. You're going to go to bed early. So we have to schedule time. And it's fine because this person means a lot to you. And so time and sleep means nothing.
Love it.
I can appreciate that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dominic, one of the things that I've always admired about you is that even though you've lived overseas for a while now, you have found a way that even your friends here and even scattered elsewhere in the US, you have stayed in touch. How have you been able to do that?
I think it begins with just being intentional about this communication, just because of how far we are, not just in miles, but in time. Money separates a lot of us too, because it costs so much to even come home. That's Jamaica, whenever I feel like it. But I just make sure that I spend time, just like Ruth Ann, to talk, because talking is where it begins and where it ends. I have a friend who, when I was going to NCU, we were very close, and we stopped talking, and I could feel that connection kind of wavering a little bit, just because we were the friends that spoke every day. You do have friends where if you don't talk for like 6 months, when you guys get back together, you're still good.
Yes.
But you know who those friends are. Me and this particular person, we were not that kind of friends, right? And we felt the connection wavering, and I had just said, enough is enough. We have to fix this, because we are coming from too far to allow distance and time to separate this connection. So we just said, okay, we're going to start talking. It was a little awkward at first, but after a while, things just kind of fell right back into place, and we were good to go. But it's just the intention. You have to be intentional about whatever in life you want to get done. And I think relationships is a very important thing we should not forget.
Hinging on what he just said,
yes,
you have to be deliberate, really. Right. Not just deliberate in showing up and talking, but deliberate in every aspect of that person's life. Even though that person is not around, that person is still going to school. Have you studied? What did you learn? Tell me something. Right. Is this what you want to achieve? Really? How are we going to make it work? How can I help? Look here. If you have credit card, you need my credit card number to do something. You don't stop showing up for each other. Distance shouldn't mean that much. And
I think where Ruth and I are concerned, our relationship began when we were both students at NCU.
Before you were a student at NCU.
Yeah, before I was a student. Yeah, I was in high school at the time.
Yes.
Okay.
And I, that's a long story. But Ruth Ann became my campus mom when I came to NCU. And it began there. She looked out for me while I was working at media. And that mom, people would say, oh, I know your son, that man. Yeah, this is my mother. And I hold on to that.
Okay.
And because of that, it's almost like a real mom-son relationship that we have. Not just friends, but a mom-son thing. That keeps us very close. My campus dad, Benji.
Yes.
When I saw him just the other day at a wedding, and it was just like, we were matching. We didn't plan to wear the same colors, and it just kind of happened. That connection, even over the sea, it was still very strong. But Ruth Ann could have forgotten that mom thing. I could have forgotten that son thing a long time ago, because, we're friends. And we left NCU a long time ago.
And we've gotten older.
Because I was a child at that time. But, our friendship has grown even closer over the years. She's still mom.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I still call her mom. She still calls me son, and I'm quite okay with that.
And my mom, it's her grandson.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I remember when he was graduating from Oakwood. He's doing very well in school. I'm such a proud mom. Everybody knows about my son. Honestly, everybody knows.
Yes.
And I was being interviewed for a job. And within the first year, you don't really have any vacation time or any of that. And I sat with HR and I said, look, during this time, it was April, yes? I will not be available. I will not be in the country. And they're like, okay, what is the issue? Oh, my son is graduating from university and I have to be there. If that's going to be a problem, as serious as it might seem, I couldn't take the job because I had to go to his graduation because it meant so much to him and it meant so much to me that I had to sacrifice it. It wasn't like I had a whole lot of money, but I had to budget. I had to get my plane ticket together and I had to be there for him.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is how we keep relationships going strong.
Yeah.
We look out for each other. We sacrifice for each other.
Yeah.
Because there are times Ruth would call me too and ask for advice on stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I would call her and ask for advice on things too. That's how we keep this going, because we both have to remind each other every time that, hey, you mean something to me. It's not just about hey, how you doing? But it's a real connection,
You've said a lot, and I know this is something we could talk about for hours. But several points that actually really pop out, so to speak, at me is that both of you basically say you really need to make the time.
Yeah.
You really need to make the time. And for you said, and I can relate because I have a very close friend. To me, it's not even a friend anymore, a sister. And she lives in Dubai, and we're talking 9 hours time difference. So you do have to make the time and make the effort. Both of you also agree in terms of being intentional, being deliberate. And in being deliberate, it does not matter that the person is not here. even the major milestones, you make an
Right,
effort
right.
to try to share in those. And one of the things that I really, before we wrap up, I realize that both of you mentioned, it makes a difference in terms of knowing what the expectations are for this particular friend. You started out talking about the fact that how this person is not necessarily the type of friend that if there's a gap and you're okay. So I think if sometimes we are sure in terms of how we label them and in terms of what the expectations are, it will also help. Any final words while we wrap up this conversation?
Know who your friends are. Let's start there. Okay? Because you'll find yourself putting all your time and energy into something that somebody else doesn't want to be a part of. So once you know who your friend is or who your friends are,
Love
and you
that.
can gauge your relationship,
that.
and you can see yourselves evolving and growing and being your better selves, your best selves in the future, stick close to that person, even when the time gets rough. And don't allow time or other persons to talk you out of that friendship. Because it's the best kind you can have when time and distance means nothing to you.
Yes. KDominic.
Piggybacking on that, do not ever buy the excuse that somebody doesn't have the time to talk to you. You will find the time to do anything you want to do.
Word.
Love it.
Right?
Word.
I'm
Love
really
it.
glad that
Love it.
the Lord granted me the opportunity to have such friends, so I know this from now. So that when I'm 40 years old, I'm not learning these things that late. And all these people who are in my life are fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do not ever believe
Yes.
that people don't have the time. They'll make the time to shower in the morning. They'll make the time to talk to you.
That is true.
You know, I have nothing else to add to that. Just to say thank you, Ruth, and thank you, KDominic, for joining me in this conversation on this Making It Last podcast, where it's all about how we have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together.